By the end of today's tutorial, you will learn how to transform a basic bodice and sleeve pattern into one featuring stylish raglan sleeve. Whether you're a beginner or an experienced sewer, this technique opens up exciting possibility for your dressmaking project. My name is Ajlam, so grab your pattern paper, pencil and scissors, and let's get started. So the first thing to do is to draft your basic bodice pattern and of course your sleeve pattern. So from this pattern, we're going to alter it now to create a raglan bodice and sleeve. Here you can see I have both the front and back bodice pattern and the sleeve. So I will be starting from the front side. Now the first thing to do is to determine how wide you want the neckline to be. So for this edge, I'll just make mine not too open. So I'll be using 2 inches for both the neck width and the neck depth. So this point depends on how open you want the chest area to be. So I am working with 2 inches, and this dress is for a 3-year-old. So I just went ahead to connect the neck depth, as you can see. After connecting the neck depth, now we're going to alter this sleeve to create the raglan effect. So this part is very easy. All you need to do is to decide how open you want the raglan part to be. All right, so for me, I'll just use 1 inch from the neck line. As you can see on both sides, I'll be using 1 inch. So I went ahead and marked 1 inch, as you can see, for the both side. After marking the 1 inch, I'll just go ahead and connect it to meet up to the armhole area. Okay, so just take your straight ruler or the curve ruler, depend on how you want the raglan part to be, either straight or curvy, but I want mine straight, so I am using my straight ruler to connect to meet up to the 1 inch that I marked on that neck line. So I'm going to repeat the same on the other side. Before we continue, I would like to remind us that our monthly online class are on. If you're interested in any of them, we have different classes for different levels in sewing. Kindly send me a WhatsApp message for more details on that. Okay, so at this point, I'll go ahead and repeat the same for the back side. Now you can see that the shoulder area is off, but I'll not be cutting that off now because I'll use that to create the raglan effect on the sleeve, so I am leaving it. So back to the other side, which is the back one, I went ahead to connect the neckline. I used 1/2 inch for the neck depth, and I'll also maintain the 1 inch that I used for the front side. So I'll just go to the back neckline and mark 1 inch. So I will maintain the same thing with the front. Then after marking the 1 inch, I will just go ahead and connect it straight again to meet up to the armhole area. Now you can see that to create your raglan effect on the bodice pattern, it is very easy. The sleeve pattern is also very easy. So I'll just first and foremost cut out my patterns, the front and the back and the sleeve, before altering it now. That is for the sleeve part to create the raglan effect on the sleeve. Okay, so let me just quickly cut this out and then we'll continue. Here I have all my patterns cut out. You can see I have the front, the back, and the sleeve pattern. Like I said earlier, I'm going to be using the front one and the back to create the raglan effect on the sleeve. So the first thing to do here is to come over to the arm side line. You can see mine is showing there, and then get the midpoint. Whatever you have there, just note the midpoint. So mine is 2.5 because I'm working with 5 inches. So on both sides it is 5 inches, so that is to make it 10 in total. That is the arm size. So just get the midpoint. As you can see, that is what I am doing there. After getting the midpoint, just connect it straight to meet up to the curve, that is the shoulder part. Just take it straight. So this is the line that we're going to use now to determine how the raglan effect will be on the sleeve. So this is very easy. Just follow the process but work with your own measurement. Then after connecting this line, now I'm going to take the front one, on that shoulder part. I'll just take the front to match up to that center line, as you can see. But before then, I needed to come down, which is what I did. I came down by 0.75. So this is really important, so that by the time you finish sewing the shoulder part, it is going to blend in very. Make sure that the shoulder edges matches the center line. As you can see what I'm doing, make sure that it matches, and then place it in a way that it will match up with the sleeve part. Now you can see that the slanted line matches up with that center point that I marked out. That is the 2.5 inches. It matches. If you watch it closely, you will see that the slanted line on the bodice matches with that one. So this is how to know that you're on the right track. So I'll use my paper sellotape to just hold it in before adjusting it a bit, so that it will give me exactly what I want. So after doing this part, I'm going to use my curved ruler to connect it now from the tip of the neckline to meet up to the 0.75 inch that I came down on that sleeve. So I am doing that right now. I'm using the curved part, just a little to connect. You can see that I have very little paper there, so this is very important. If you don't do this after sewing, the shoulder part is going to look puffy. So doing it this way will make it to come down flat, exactly the way it should be. Okay, so at this point I'll just cut out. We're going to slant this off now. That is the raglan effect on the bodice. I'll just cut it out before placing the back side as well. So you can see that if you follow this method, it is very easy. You don't need to stress your head so much just to make a raglan effect on the bodice or a sleeve. So this is very easy. So I'm repeating the same process on the sleeve. Make sure that the back shoulder slope tallies with the center point of the sleeve, and then I use my paper sellotape to just hold it down, and then I'm going to use the same paper sellotape to hold it in a way that it will cover up the sleeve parts. I'm just repeating what I did with the front pattern. It's just the same thing. So after doing this, now I'm going to slash it open from the line that we marked on the front pattern. Okay, so I'm repeating the same thing. You can see, just connect. At the end of the day, we'll be cutting off that little piece there. Okay, this is very important. So this is just basically how to draft or modify a bodice pattern and a sleeve pattern to a raglan effect. This is very easy. So I'll just quickly cut out to slash it out, the front side, and you can see the shape that we have there. This is very easy. Just slash it open and then you're good to go. So all you need to do is to add your necessary sewing allowance when you're cutting this on your fabric. Okay, so I'll just quickly do this and then cut it on my fabric and show you how to stitch it very neat. All right, after cutting it out, I'll go ahead to cut out the satin part. This is optional. If you want, you can just work with what you have. So this pattern now that you're seeing is what I cut out on my lace, as you can see. But for my satin, I don't want it to come all the way to the neckline, so I want it very small. So I went ahead to divide what I have on that armhole by 2, and then I will just connect it to form a V neckline on that center line. So this is now going to be my satin. That is what I'll be cutting out as a satin, while the first one you're seeing is the lace. Okay, so this is very optional. Like I said earlier, you can skip this part if you like. So I'll go ahead to cut this part off. As you can see, I've marked that X is going off. I will not be using that again. Then the remaining part is what I'll be cutting out on my satin, and then I will quickly do that so I can show us how to sew this very neat. Now for the back pattern, that is this satin part of the back, I will just leave, the armhole line is what I'll be using for the satin part. So the upper side, as you can see, will go off, while the lower side is going to be the satin. You can see that I label it satin, so you can easily see the part that is going to be for the satin. So this is the back, while this other one is the front. So let me just quickly cut this out. So after joining everything, this is where we are so far. So at this point, I'll be adding the plate that is going to be on that front side. So for this plate, it is very easy. Just fold in your satin in a way that by the time you turn it to the back side, it's still on your fabric. You can see I'm just making sure that it's still on the fabric. So when you place it like that, you take your iron and give it a very good press, and then you can decide to use 2 or 3 plates. It all depends on what you want. So this part you can just use your own creativity to achieve it, but it's very simple. You can see the way I am folding mine, just 2 plates, and then press it, making sure that it's still on the fabric. So after plating it now, I'm going to use my pin to secure it nicely and then cut off the excess parts that will not be needing. Okay, so just give it a very good press and then cut out the excess, and that's it. I'm going to repeat the same on the other side. You can see that it is very easy. Just take your time, go through this tutorial, and then try and recreate yours. So as you can see, I am trying to place it again, making sure that it's the way it should be, and then I'll go ahead and pin and then cut out the excesses.